If you want to control air traffic, you are fired the moment you turn 56, because your brain is statistically too slow. But controlling the entire US nuclear arsenal seems acceptable at 79. It is January 14th, 2026, and the world feels like it is spinning off its axis. You woke up this morning to headlines that sound like bad fan fiction, including US forces reportedly moving on Venezuela, new diplomatic threats aimed at Greenland, and a tragic incident involving ice vehicles turning on civilians. Everyone is asking, why is this happening now? The answer might be staring us in the face from behind a podium. We are currently living under a global gerontocracy, which creates rule by the old. The key players pushing the buttons today include Trump at 79, Putin at 73, Xi at 72, Netanyahu at 76, and Khamenei at 86. These are experienced statesmen in the biological final chapter of their lives. Yet they decide if the rest of us get to have a future at all. While you worry about paying rent in 2030 or surviving climate change in 2040, the men in charge are statistically unlikely to be here to see it. That disconnect proves dangerous this week. Biological data paints a clear picture. The Federal Aviation Administration forces air traffic controllers to retire at 56 because science proves that cognitive processing speed, known as fluid intelligence, drops sharply after 60. Reacting to a crisis requires split-second processing. We hand the nuclear codes to men who would be legally barred from guiding a Cessna into a regional airport. This creates a terrifying double standard. A pilot making a mistake due to cognitive decline might hurt a few hundred people. A world leader with diminishing mental plasticity making a calculation error about Ukraine or Venezuela causes millions to suffer. We have normalized the idea that the most high-stakes job on the planet has become a retirement activity for men who should focus on their golf handicap. A darker psychological angle often goes ignored by mainstream media. It is the nothing to lose syndrome. People in their 30s or 40s think about long-term consequences because they have to live in the world they create. They worry about 30-year mortgages, college funds, and whether the air will be breathable during retirement. The horizon sits directly in front of someone who is 79 or 86. This creates a permission structure for high-risk behavior. Starting a war today brings the immediate glory of being a wartime president, while the leader escapes the economic collapse or radiation fallout 10 years down the line. This explains the reckless aggression seen in Greenland and the Middle East. These decisions come from people who cash out their chips at the casino before security steps in. History is unfolding in real time. If you feel tired of important decisions being made by people who will never face the consequences, we are tracking this story as it develops. Subscribing helps support detailed investigations like this and ensures you see future updates. Corporate practices expose the hypocrisy. The same wealthy donors and corporations funding elderly politicians often enforce strict, mandatory retirement ages for their own executives. About 2/3 of S&P 500 boards have mandatory retirement policies, usually set around 72 to 75. Corporate shareholders understand that you lose the sharpness needed to protect profits after a certain age. They will chain because it poses too much risk for the stock price. Yet, that same 75-year-old seems acceptable to run the military, the economy, and the justice system? Money gets protected with rigorous age limits, while human lives remain exposed to cognitive decline. If a board of directors believes you are too old to manage a spreadsheet, you are too old to manage a superpower. The solution is gaining traction fast. We need an upper age limit for federal office, and the number should likely sit at 59 for entering office. This ensures the leader stays under 68 by the time a two-term presidency ends. The logic holds firm, because writing laws for the future requires living long enough to experience the results. You need to be statistically likely to survive, to see the impact of your policies. Leaders should be digital natives who actually understand AI, crypto, and cyber warfare, because they use the tech themselves rather than relying on aids. A 59-year-old cap forces the torch to pass to the generation that must clean up the mess. It stops the government from becoming an upscale nursing home and turns it back into a functional cockpit. Failing to fix this makes the events of January 2026 only the trailer for the movie. We will see more erratic decisions, more tech-illiterate policies, and more conflicts. Started by men viewing the world through a Cold War lens that shattered 40 years ago. The Venezuela incident and the Arctic tensions show old grudges fought with modern weapons. Positive change is possible because the conversation is finally happening. Age limits have moved beyond fringe status and trend worldwide for the first time. People realize that experience carries value, while cognitive agility remains non-negotiable. Pushing this change might create a government that looks like the future it protects, rather than the past it refuses to release. The alternative means letting the world spiral, while the captains fall asleep at the wheel. The world moves too fast for leaders who slow down, and the stakes in 2026 feel too high for nostalgia. Let me know in the comments if it is time for a new generation to take over, and thanks for watching.